What's up, Goomy Gang? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing awesome. And I hope you guys are ready for some slug action, because today we're talking about the Maelstrom full auto shotgun from Black Ops 6 with slugs. Now, it's important to note that they did actually get a buff in multiplayer with its damages, and that actually did carry over to Warzone, so that is cool to see, because they did get in the patch notes for Warzone just like a recoil buff, which on its own isn't very good because the gun wasn't good to begin with slugs, but they did get a little bit of a damage buff, so that's pretty good. So with today's video, it's all about the slug rounds. I'll talk about the time to kill and all that good stuff, kind of share my thoughts and give you guys a class or two for them and my overall opinion. So if that sounds good to you guys, let's just go ahead and hop right into it. So first, I'm going to go over sort of the damages and the ranges for this thing with slugs. And normally I would be using sim.gg, but the values don't seem to be right, and so I had to go in game and test them out. And so what you're going to see on screen here is from my hand testing in game. So here are the numbers for the Maelstrom with slugs. Now, one of the things I like about these things is that they do have pretty wide damage ranges. Specifically, it has 6.3 in its first and then now to 20, which is actually really cool. And the numbers you see here on their own aren't really that bad. They actually look pretty decent. Now, when it comes to actual shots to kill and all that kind of stuff, in its first range out to about that 6.3 meter mark, it's going to take basically about 4 to 5 shots. Now, it takes 4 shots if you hit 3 stomach and 1 chest. If you hit all stomach, it's going to take 5. But basically, all you really have to do is just hit 1 chest and you're good, and you're going to get a 4-shot kill. Now, with its 4-shot time to kill, you're looking at about a 575 millisecond time to kill, which is actually pretty good. Now, it's arguable if it's worth it considering it's slugs and they're kind of hard to use on this thing, but if it does take 5 shots, meaning you just kind of scuff a shot or hit legs or whatever, you're looking at more about the 761 millisecond time to kill, which that's kind of starting to feel a little bit bad up close because SMGs are just going to melt you. Now, in that next range out to 20.3 meters, if you just hit 1 chest shot and the rest are stomach or arms or something like that, it'll take you about 6 shots to kill. Now, the time to kill for that is about 952 milliseconds. Not really good at all. Now, unfortunately, that's kind of where the good things start to end with this thing, because out in those later ranges, it just kind of takes a little too many shots to kill with its time to kill. So you're talking about like 900 to a second. And if you're in that last range, I mean, just look at how much the damage is. If you're hitting legs, you're doing 10 damage for a slug. I'm sorry, but even if you're hitting legs with a slug, you shouldn't be dealing that kind of amount of damage. It should be way higher, not 10 or even like 24 for the arms. That's just a little too low in my opinion. So the real thing here is to stay in that 20 meter range. You can challenge people at further ranges, but you're really asking for trouble because these things are a little hard to use. Generally, slugs are because of a lot of different quirks they have, but really with this, you want to be as up close as you can. Of course, it's a shotgun, but this sort of slug shotgun just doesn't have the damage to really compete at anything past 20 meters. And even in that close range to 20 meters, it's still going to be kind of a challenge to work with, because unless you're getting that 500 millisecond time to kill, or rather like 575, it's going to get you killed probably against some good players. And like I said, it's slugs. There's quirks to watch out for. The big thing here is that it doesn't really have a super fast firing fire rate, so it's just kind of always going to be a very unforgiving gun. It's going to feel kind of like a goblin or like one of those kind of slower fire ARs that hit like a truck, but this thing doesn't really hit like a truck necessarily, so it's just super unforgiving with its fire rate. I do not recommend going past 20 meters at all with this thing. It might be fun to try, you might get a few headshots in and maybe get a kill, but really not worth it. If you want to rock a class for it with just 5 attachments, this is one I was using to have some decent success with. We're rocking extended mag 2, we're rocking a sight because the iron sights are pretty piss poor if you're trying to just shoot with slugs. Then we have the muzzle brake because that does seem to help a little bit more with the recoil in my opinion than with something like an underbarrel grip. Then of course we have something like slugs and the Strelok laser. This is something I learned from exclusive ace and TrueGameData, where basically it sort of cuts your aim down sights time in half because your gun is already kind of aiming down sights completely, even though it doesn't show on screen. So it is a nice attachment to have in those really close ranges. But of course, you can swap things out if you really want to. If you want to try 8 attachments on this thing, here's the build I've been using for that. Again, we're rocking a sight and some other different stuff. The suppressors are nice because it does seem to help with the muzzle flash, which can get a little annoying on shotguns. You can rock the monolithic suppressor if you have it. I don't have it unlocked currently, but it does give you a little bit more range. This one was a little bit more difficult to work with because it's a little bit slower than the other one I have, but it is fun to use and it is fun to go for those long range kills. Even though it's not super effective at it, it is kind of fun and something different to try. As for my overall thoughts on this gun and if you should even use it, it's definitely worth giving a try if you're just looking for something new, but when we're talking like effectiveness and how good it is up close, it's got potential, but just how hard it is to use doesn't really make it worth it. Like, the up close getting all that damage is super nice, but it doesn't really shoot that fast, and all it takes is missing one shot and your time to kill bumps up like 200 milliseconds or something. Not really worth it in my opinion. Again, it's fun to switch it up, and you might notice, hey, I'm actually getting some decent kills, and it might feel like it's doing well in that 20-meter range, but you're going to be hitting chest and up, and again, it's just more trouble than it's worth. But hey, if you like that kind of thing, give it a try. It's not going to be anything like the KV broadside. It's not going to hit as hard as the Haymaker with Slugs, but it's fun. It's full auto, so it's not as difficult, but it's still Slugs, so it is difficult to use in general. So, meh, take it or leave it, not the greatest. I still think, honestly, it could use some more buffs and get some more damage at range especially. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. As always, I want to know down below in the comments, what do you guys think about the Maelstrom with Slugs in Warzone? Do you think they're any good? Do you think I'm full of crap and think they're actually really, really good? And with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.